Welcome to the Create a Life You Love podcast, the go-to podcast for people who are called to make a positive impact through the power of coaching. You'll hear encouraging stories from coaches sharing their journeys and their lessons learned along the way, tips from top experts who help coaches thrive in their life and their business, and so much more. So if you're ready to create a business and a life of impact that you love, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Create a Life You Love podcast. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Chantel Cox. I'm an author, a speaker, a transformation neurocoach, and a certified life purpose coach who saves purpose-driven coaches from feeling stuck and frustrated so that you can get off the hamster wheel and make the aligned impact that you're destined for without overwhelm and burnout.
And I am Gwen White. I am a quantum human design specialist and virtual coach. I offer a simple approach to supercharging your productivity, uncovering your superpowers using an evidence-based system so that you can align to your true purpose in life and go from frustrated and overwhelmed to easily creating what you want in your life and your business so that every day you feel excited, empowered, and engaged. And before we leap right in, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, the Create a Life You Love membership, which is a growing network of passionate, purpose-driven coaches who are partnering up in powerful ways to increase their knowledge, momentum, and impact. So for more information and to apply, we'd love for you to check out the website, createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership.
Yes.
And
just a quick reminder that we do stream our episodes live onto Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube using Restream. So feel free to share comments and questions in the chat. And if you're watching on Facebook, please allow permissions at chat.restream.io/Facebook. Okay. Let's get into the episode. We are super excited to be here today with Lynette Esperanza Robinson. Lynette is a sought-after speaker, performer, entrepreneur, business coach, and the founder of Wild Heart Wellness, as well as the Success Accelerator, which we're going to be sharing more about later. And then Lynette specializes in helping entrepreneurs go from lightbulb moment to launched in a fraction of the time so they can skyrocket their sales and create the life and business of their dreams. Welcome, Lynette. How are you doing today?
So good. I'm really excited here. Thank you so much, Gwen and Chantel, for having me. I really appreciate it.
we're so thrilled that you're here, Lynette. I follow you, and I just am so excited that you're our guest today. And I would love to hear a little bit about your journey of creating a life that you love through speaking and coaching, who you serve, and how you got started.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I'm so excited to be on this podcast is because this message of creating a life that you love really rings very true inside of me. This is something that I feel really passionate about. And kind of funny story, I think maybe a year or more ago, I was doing a photo shoot with a photographer for my business, and they were like, "Hey, I got this cool letterboard. What do you want to put on there?" And the very first thing that popped into my head was create a life you love. Because I think that there are so many out there who get stuck in this trap of like, well, this is just how it is, or like I'm, whatever, and I think we have to start shifting our mindset into this knowledge that we are creators. We have this capacity to create everything that is around us. In fact, if you think about it, everything that you're interacting with right now, if you're watching this, everything, like look around your room, add that as an idea. The computer that you're watching on, the phone that you're watching on, the bed that might be in your room, or the table, someone had that idea inside of their mind, and then they brought it into reality by creating it through action. And so we have to shift our belief and our action and our orientation, we're going to talk more about that later, to one that says anything is possible. I can create a life that I love. It's not like a cute phrase. It's not like a slogan. It's a real thing that you can accomplish in your life. And I'm so excited that we can share some tips with you guys tonight on how not only can you do that, but how you can help others do that. Because all of you who are watching are coaches, consultants, experts who have people in your world who are waiting for you to step into that life that you have in your heart, in your mind. Step into that so that you can help them do the same.
Ooh, love it.
Excited. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm curious to know, and because we do serve coaches, I am curious to know how you maybe started getting clients and how you get clients now, how that may have shifted.
Yeah, so this is such a fun story for me because I've been coaching in some capacity for years, like years and years. Recently, not really that recently, I say recently, it's been a while. But in my mind, it was like 3 days ago. It was like 3 years ago. I was working for an international franchising company doing product development and new franchisee support. So a big part of my role are new and existing franchisees launch, scale, grow their businesses, support their teams. So inside of that role, I did tons and tons of coaching, leadership coaching, business coaching, personal development, life coaching. Because if you're watching, you know that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it all sort of mingles, right? It's all happy, you know, and I believe this very strongly, that your personal growth is going to have a direct correlation to your business growth. So making sure that you're pouring into yourself with resources like this podcast, like the membership, like coach that any of us offer. These are ways that you can not only help your own life, but you can help your business in a major, major way. So in any case, I was there. I was doing all this coaching and I realized, oh my gosh, I love this so much. So fun, so empowering. And I discovered that I had a real knack for really helping specifically business owners in this sphere. And over time, I was like, I would love to be able to expand this. And so that's when I started doing coaching on my own. And like most people, when I first started coaching and consulting, I did a lot of it for free. I didn't realize I was doing it until I was like, I'm doing this. And then I would have people reaching out to me. And maybe you've had this experience if you're watching or listening right now, where you have a particular set of expertise, but maybe you have not yet given it the value that it actually has in the marketplace. And you start to notice that people are coming to you like, hey, can I just pick your brain on this? Or what do you think about that? Or I want to do this, but I do you think? If that's you, if that's been happening to you, you have an expertise that the market is already telling you they need and they want. This is exciting, right? So the tip here is, if this is happening to you, pay attention and start to learn how to leverage that into an element or an offer inside of your business. Or maybe you don't yet have a business, and this is your sign. If you're waiting for a sign, this is to start your business, to launch, to take that step. Because when you start to place value on your expertise, not only are you able to serve your clients at a higher level, but it also helps other people place value not on your expertise, but on theirs. It helps them start to see the value in investing in themselves by not just like picking your brain for free, but for investing in gaining knowledge, gleaning your expertise, and learning how they can also apply XYZ thing, whatever it is your area of specialty is, into their own life or their own business. So that's like the tip. The way that I started doing that was just taking action. I am a big believer in action taking. You know, in these spheres, you hear a lot like action takers are money makers, and that is so true. 100% true. Let me say it again in case you didn't hear it. Action takers are money makers. So if you're a business owner, your goal is to make money, in case you're wondering. But I also want to encourage you to know that action takers are the change makers. So if you feel called to make an impact, if you see something in your world, in your audience, in your sphere that needs change, you've got to take action. You will be the leader that makes that impact, that creates that ripple, if you are willing to take action. It doesn't have to be perfect action. It doesn't have to be like everything in order, figured out action. It needs to be inspired, imperfect action that you take daily. And so that's what I started doing. So that's kind of how I got here. I'll also say that one of the things that I did almost immediately when I sort of pivoted into my own practice of coaching was I got mentorship. I just think you're a crazy person if you think you can do it on your own. And not to like be rude, but I just think there's so much knowledge out there, and there's just like, why reinvent the wheel? Why waste your time, your precious time, trying to figure stuff out on your own when you can either outsource it, or better, reach out to the crowd, pay them for their expertise, and then take the action. You're going to get where you want to go so much faster if you are willing to invest in yourself in that way. And it's not just a money investment, it's a time investment. It's a taking a posture of learning investment. It's like creating brain space, heart space for that. It's an investment of who you are.
Absolutely. All the things, all the crazy emojis, drop the mic. Yep. I love it.
Take it away, Chantel.
Okay. So a big thing. So we are so aligned, Lynette, as we both knew as soon as we kind of interacted, and we use all the same phrases, and we're like, are you in my head? This is amazing.
I know.
And so, yes. A big thing that, like, one of the pillars of our community and our membership is creating not just a business, but also a life of impact that you love. Mm-hmm. And so I'd love to hear, what does that mean to you?
Ooh, I love this question so much. I think one of the most important things for business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, experts, however you label yourself, what you need to know is that, how do I say this? What you need to know is that you are not like a separate thing from your business. Like I said before, your personal growth and your professional or career or business growth, they're linked, they're connected. And if you are feeling depleted inside of your life, outside of your business, it will eventually to your business. And so you have to be mindful of what kind of life, like the whole thing, work, personal things, family, what is that looking like? I talk a lot about work-life harmony, because I personally think that work-life balance is a myth. That's like a whole conversation for another day. But the sort of long and short of it is that you will attract the kind of clients that you want. You will create the kind of impact that you want when you are grounded in yourself, like in the world that you have created. So if like you don't have any personal time, or you haven't, your relationships are struggling, like time out, take a pause, because you're going to be so much better able to create the kind of impact that you want to create when you're doing it from a place of wholeness, of growth, of openness. And I think that I know that in my own life, I always see, it's so fascinating. I have always seen such a direct correlation, like the things that are my heart for like making an impact when I'm just running, striving, charging hard, going crazy and like working myself to the bone. It's almost like all the opportunities start like going away. They're like detractors. When you put two magnets that are polarized the same way together, they like repel each other. It almost feels like that. But when you can flip it and you can make sure that you are taking care of your whole person, suddenly all the opportunities for impact, all the amazing clients, all the like cool stuff just starts pouring into your life, drawing into you, because it's almost like your energy knows, well, I actually have something to give. I actually have something to pour out. I actually have enough to create that impact, to create that ripple. And so for me, one of the things that I really I watch and gauge in my own life is how I'm feeling, like how I feel, what my energy's like. And if stuff's starting to get weird in my world, I really try to pause and say, okay, where can I reweight so that I can actually start attracting the things into my life that I want, and I can stop repelling the things that I want or that I don't. Like you want it to be a situation where there's ease and flow, and I think people talk about that a lot. Like, oh, you want to be in flow, but here's the thing: if you've never been in flow, or someone's never explained to you what that actually looks like and feels like, you're gonna be like like how do I get in flow? But flow is like being in flow, and it feels like such like a weird thing to say, but is when there is an ease. There is an ease where it's like you don't feel that striving. It doesn't mean there's not work. Doesn't mean that there's not work. There might be work. There might be things that you're doing, but there's an ease and there's like a rhythm of grace that you feel in that work that you're doing, that you feel that joy, and things come out of you. They like pour out of you. They flow out of you in a way that's like, wow, almost like surprising. And it's really cool. The more you practice that, the more you create opportunities in your life to do that, the bigger your impact will be, because you start to remove yourself from like your ego, you remove yourself from the situation and just allow yourself to pour out. And it's so inspiring anytime you see someone like really truly in flow, because you feel drawn into them. You feel like, and every that they're saying, pause that they take, it feels like it's like reverberating inside of your skin. It's so amazing. And the reason that that's happening is because they have chosen to kind of step out of their own way so that they can let the ease and the expertise and the knowledge and the caring and the compassion that they have to just flow or move out of them without their own self kind of trying to get in the way. And it's a practice, but it starts, I think, learning how to get into that flow starts by paying attention, by having awareness of like what's happening in my world, and not just like ticking off checklists and running around and like I'm doing the things, but like taking a pause. And I get it. I'm a very busy human, like a lot, but I know that when I just like get in the rat race, I'm going to be out of flow. But if I can be busy and I can have a lot on my plate and be functioning inside those rhythms of grace, letting myself do what I was made to do without like getting in my own way. I know we're going to talk about imposter syndrome a little bit tonight. And I think that's like the biggest thing. It's like, you got to learn how to get out of your own way. You got to learn how to get out of your own way. You have to choose. You have to choose that the mission, that the impact, that the calling is bigger than your insecurities, than those internal insecurities that, yes, they're not real. They might feel real. The feeling is valid. The feeling is for sure a real thing, but they're not facts. They're not facts. So, and we're going to get to that. But I love this question. It's so good.
And I love your answer. It's all so good. It's like, yes, everything she's saying.
Amazing. Yeah, so good. So tell me,
Chantal, did you have another question?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm kind of looking at the time, but yes, I think I do want to go here real quick because I think it's so important before we really start diving into imposter syndrome. So something that really intrigues me about some of your messaging is you talk about going from light bulb moment to launched at lightning speed, so that your clients can skyrocket their business and create the life and business of their dreams. And so just tell us more about that and how you got started with that.
So good. So a lot of this actually comes back to my time when I was working with a franchising company, because like I said, one of the things that I did inside of that role was actually product development. And so I got a lot of experience on developing product research from, conception all the way into launching into the marketplace. And then what's interesting about the business model that I was involved in then was that it's a franchising model. So the franchisor, which is what I was working with, they develop the thing. And then each individual franchise launches the thing. And what I think is really fascinating is that every franchise was launching the same product, but we're having different results. And so I started paying attention, like, what's happening here? And it wasn't like some people were bombing, people were not. It was like some people were crushing it and some people were like doing good. But I don't know about you, but if I'm going to show up and do work in the market, I want to crush it, right? Like I want to, and so trying to figure out, okay, what is the difference maker? How is it that we can replicate crushing it all the time? And so that's a lot of what I have done, kind of my own homework and research in, is how can I help business owners get there faster? Because I really believe that coaches, consultants, experts, you have so many amazing ideas inside of your brain, inside of your heart. You have these products, these services, these ideas that you want to bring to market. But sometimes it's almost like there's like a bottleneck or something gets stuck. Have you ever experienced that where you think, oh, I've got this cool idea, and then kind of nothing happens, or maybe a little bit happens, and then it goes, you kind of peters out.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
What's happening? And what I've discovered is that there's a sequence, there is a pattern, there's a strategy that you can put in place to help you go from that light bulb moment, from concept all the way to launched and in the hands of your ideal client in a way that doesn't take you millions of hours. You don't have to be like scrolling the internet for all of eternity, posting billions of memes or doing anything. There is a system and there's a sequence that you can utilize inside of your business that's going to help you get there faster and with better results. And so that's really what I focus on. And I love this work because it's so exciting, because you get to see not only the light bulb to launch moment, but you kind of get to see something switch on inside of entrepreneurs like my clients. You can see them go, oh my gosh, I was making this so much harder than it needed to be. Holy smokes. This is just, this could have been. So that's sort of how I got started, and I do the work that I do because I feel really passionately about the fact that every single one of you who are listening, watching, wherever you're watching, you have something so unique, so powerful inside of you that the world really needs. There is someone out there right now who is desperate, absolutely desperate for the answer that you have locked up inside of you. They're waiting for you to step into that. And I think there's just nothing more exciting or powerful than walking alongside someone as they help unlock that, so that they can release those answers, release those solutions into the world for the people who are waiting for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, as we know, for so many people, the thing that gets in the way is that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
since that's really what we're talking about today, and I also read that you specialize in getting clients unstuck by having an aligned sales strategy, I would love to know more about imposter syndrome and maybe a little bit about your sales strategy unlocking.
Oh my gosh, it's such a
But yeah, let's get into imposter syndrome for sure.
Yeah, this is a fun subject because imposter syndrome, we did like a little poll inside of your group, and everyone said yes, like I've been there. And what I think is powerful about having this conversation is that it's important to recognize that if you right now or at some point in the past have struggled with imposter syndrome, you are not alone. You are not alone. Let me say it again. You're not alone. You're not alone. Like this, don't, let's start by saying, unpacking the lie that it's only you, that like you're the only person who feels like they're a fraud, or how do I even think I can call myself an expert or whatever. So many people, probably every business owner ever in the history of the world has at some point felt this. And that should, one, feel encouraging just to know that you're not alone, but it should also really spark something inside of you that says, whoa, if all of the greatest minds, all of the greatest business people that are doing their thing right now in the world have had an opportunity to overcome this, then I can too. It's not insurmountable. It's not. So let's just start there. The other thing that I really want to camp out on is that you have to shift your mind to understand that those thoughts are not you. Like that's not, because like inside of your mind, you're going to like have like thoughts and things. But when you have those thoughts, can you just pause for a second and ask yourself, where's that coming from? Like, whose voice is that actually? What experience is telling me that this is true? And just pause for a second, because a lot of times there's like an experience from our past or an interaction from something, or even, are you ready for this? Even like some of the media that we consume, movies, like these beliefs are into us through all different sorts of things. And it's like, you have to ask yourself the question, is that really me? Do I really believe that? And you have to start shifting your belief systems around this. I think this is so hilarious. They're like, when they talk about belief systems, they just like, what's going on with your BS? And I think that's kind of comical, because belief systems can be really powerful, or they can really just be a load of BS, right? Like there's a lot of things that are rolling your brain right now, your belief systems, that are a total load of BS. And you have to stop yourself, pause long enough. We talked a little bit about this before, about self-awareness, developing that self-awareness to say, hang on, do I really believe this about myself? Is this really me? Or is it something else? And I'll tell you right now that so many times, a huge lion's share of the time, when you start to pause to ask that, you will be astounded to discover, that's not me. That was like my 8th grade teacher, or that was a movie I watched, or that was, a family member or something. And what's interesting is that when someone says something like negative about like, oh, you're starting a business, like, well, that's never going to work. What they really mean is like, that's never going to work for me.
Right.
They're talking to you about your thing through the lens of what they think of themselves, of what they believe about themselves, of what they have conceptualized as what's possible for them, and they're projecting it onto you. Those things that other people are saying to you that you've let like kind of wormhole into your skull, they're not about you. They're about that other person.
Exactly. Yes.
So allow yourself the freedom to say, that's not mine. Thank you. And then for the things that maybe do come up that you feel like, no, that's a homegrown fear. Cool. That's on me. I just want you to just like, I think when your response is perfect, like just have like a chuckle, like it's okay. There's a part of our brain that is still super primal and very oriented towards keep you safe, don't get eaten by a tiger, run away. Like it's
fit in.
Yeah, exactly. And it's okay. And I think sometimes we're like, oh, the primal brain. But listen, your primal brain is out there trying to keep you alive. Let's take a second to just thank it, like acknowledge, wow, thank you. Trying to keep me alive. This is not actual real danger. This is psychological danger. So starting to differentiate between, is there something that's actually scary, actually something that's worth being afraid of, something that's actually going to harm me, or is this something psychological, something that like inside of my brain I've kind of psyched myself out to believe is worth having a fear over? And I want to just pause for a second to say, like, these are processes. This is not going to be like one and done.
Right.
You're going to need to like step into this as a practice. And what's so cool is that our brains are amazing and they're going to learn so fast. And so as you start to create those new patterns, I know Chantel will love this, like, neurons on fire together, wired together. Like our brains are designed to grow and evolve and change. And so if you can continue to create those little interruptions for these moments of BS, it will help you immensely. And so that's kind of like the really quick nuts and bolts version of some of the stuff that I talk to my clients about. Of course, holy smokes, we could go real deep on this, and I spend weeks and oh my gosh, so much time with my clients on this. But that's kind of like the nuts and bolts. But there are some very practical, action-oriented, because I love that, action-oriented things that you can be doing that can kind of create a fail-safe for you when you have those moments where you're like, I'm a total fraud. I'm freaking out right now. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? A thing that I would love to just encourage you to do, if you have ever felt that way, hands up if you've ever, is when you're not feeling that way, when you're feeling powerful, when you're in flow, I want you to take a moment and write down like 10 things, 5 things, write down a list of things that you feel like, I crush at this. I am so good. Things that you feel like stone cold facts about who you are, what you do, and why you are completely capable and really like the person to be doing what you're doing. I want you to write it down like in the notes on your phone or however it is that you keep track of things. My whole life is on this bad boy, so that's fine. And in those moments when you start to have that like imposter syndrome, freak out, meltdown, like when you feel that kind of bubbling up, reach to your phone, pull it out. Are you ready for this? Stand up, get in front of a mirror, and read them out loud. Look yourself in the eye as you read them. because there's a couple things that are going to happen. One, like that action of standing up, the change of your state, that physical state is going to kind of help shake you up. But then saying it out loud, this is one of my favorite tools, is it creates a really cool like neurofeedback loop for you that's going to help start instilling those real beliefs, those true beliefs about you inside of your brain. Because at a certain point, you won't have to pull out your phone. You won't have to stand up and stare yourself down in the mirror. It will just be automatic. You'll have that moment because it's normal. It's okay. And then the real you, please stand up. The real you will stand up inside of your mind and say, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. And it will automatically just unbuckle, like unfold all of that anxiety, those kind of almost feel like those like chains and ropes you feel when you're having that imposter syndrome moment. And it'll free you from that because, as I like to say, the truth will free. Like, but it's real. Like, that is a real thing. And you have to practice to get to that place where your brain will automatically be like, whoa, hang on. And so that's one of the tools that I think is really powerful. I think another fun one for those of you, all of you who are listening, are coaches, consultants. And this might sound weird, but it's very effective, is when someone gives you a great review, print it out. Like,
love that.
Put it in your workspace, like wallpaper your area with those great reviews. And before you step into your work, however it is that you do your work, before, like, read a few of them. Remind yourself. It's kind of almost like the brain word equivalent of power posing, right? There's like all this great research around power posing and how it can really like biochemically like shift you and all this cool stuff. It sort of does the same thing. It's this like cool like neuro hack that you can do prior to stepping into your work. Like, oh my gosh, look at all the things that I've already done. Look at all the people that I've already helped. And so you just offer those up. So those are two quick tips that I love and I've used and have used with clients and know work like gangbusters, like super, super well. So I hope that helps someone out there.
Absolutely. Yes. I definitely wanted you to have the opportunity to share some tips or, your secret sauce. So super excited. Those are two excellent tips. Everybody go do them immediately.
Exactly. And here's a tip for people who are new and maybe don't have testimonials. Everyone has thank you notes from, someone that they either worked with or even a family member. Those are spectacular to like keep your thank you note file, like when you need a little boost. And exactly. Like, because people recognize those gifts that you have, that you were talking about when we got started. And absolutely. It's a good reminder.
And I think another thing you can do if you're just starting out too is to reach out to all those people who've been picking your brain all this time for free. And why did you reach out to me? Like, what was it? How did I help you? Ask them. And another thing that you can do is reach out to like friends and family or people who know you really well and ask them for like, what are my three best qualities, or something that's small so that they don't have to spend like a bunch of time doing it, which means they'll actually do it for you. But it's just going to help you get like a little glimpse of like, oh wow, I make this kind of I'm already making this kind of impact on my closest circle. And so those are two ways you can really quick get this kind of feedback to utilize, even if you're just starting out.
I love that.
Brilliant.
I love that you brought in so much of like the neuroscience. And so I love the tips that you are saying tie into all that. And because our brain is keeping us safe, anything unfamiliar is unsafe. And so then that's when it throws up all those blockades and the imposter syndrome and make you run back in that cave and hide. And so these tips really are helping your brain see that it's not as unfamiliar and therefore unsafe as you kind of believe when you forget about those thank you notes and those testimonials and those everything. Just the experiences that you have that, you walked away feeling like, wow, I just made an impact on that person.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
like proof.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. I love that.
Absolutely.
So cool.
I know I am keeping an eye on time, but I am really curious, Lynette. We've talked a little about imposter syndrome. Are there other things that you feel like that hold people back from creating the life or the business of their dreams, or any other things that keep them stuck? Like, what are the things that people can kick to the curb, so as it were?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
We'll take as much as we need.
I know. I think there are a couple of things that I see most frequently with people who are starting a business, growing their business, trying to scale their business, is buying this lie that there's not enough time and there's not enough money. And I think, and I'm a very natural, empathic human. And so I just want to stop and say, I get it. I know that it probably feels very real for you right now when you're trying to work a full-time job, start your business, care for your family, I don't know, have a life, have a hobby, I don't know, something, maybe read a book. I get it. I know that, starting a business can also feel big and scary, and that it's how you feel stretched financially, emotionally, mentally, time-wise. I get that the feeling is very real and very heavy. And I'm sure that there are times where it's how am I supposed to do this? How do real non-robot humans do this? How's the thing? And that pain and that frustration and that heaviness, because I feel like that's really what it is. People just feel weighed down, that's so hard and it's intense. And I know, because I've been there. I have been there. But the truth is that both time and money are really abundant. They're really, really abundant. And the other thing that's kind of cool and also trippy to think about is that they're both constructs. They're imaginary things that we have created to help us understand how to move through the world. And that's it. And so starting to understand how I think about and how I feel about money and about time is how it's going to be replicating inside of my life. So if I always feel I don't have enough time, I'm running late, I just I'm busy. Time is going to replicate that way inside of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my urgent urge is stop it. Stop believing the lie that you have enough time. You do have enough time. Take a small moment to really actually want. Not what you think you should want, not what you think you're supposed to want, not what someone else told you that you should want, none of that, what you actually want. And now I know a lot of people talk about you got to find your why and do this stuff. I am here for that. I am all for it. But what I think a lot of experts forget to tell their clients is that you also need to evaluate and verbalize feeling that you want. When you've arrived at your why, feeling do you want? What feeling do you want? And if you don't know what that feeling is, even if your why is so super clear, you're going to keep getting in your own way, which I know sucks to hear, but
It's so true, though.
like in your own way, because there's not enough like internal emotional clarity, which is a prime driver for humans, for you to accomplish and take the actions that you need to take. And even if you haven't clarified that and haven't like gotten on the same wavelength with yourself around that, you're going to start to self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to
Truly.
dismantle the lie that like there's not enough time, there's not enough money. What we really got to do is figure out why you're using those things as an excuse for not doing what it is that you say you want to do. And most of the time what's really happening is that you don't actually know what and how you want to feel. And I'll just say this, I'm assuming that a lot of your clients are women, kind of like mine. Oftentimes women feel a lot of guilt and shame around how they actually want to feel. Because oftentimes the feeling that they're going for is like, I want to feel powerful. I want to feel seen. I want to feel important. I want to feel abundant, whatever it is. And like oftentimes we have this internal struggle with that acknowledgement, because we have been fed this bill of goods that those are not okay feelings for us to have, for women to have. So, and if that's what you bump up against, like, it's okay. Like, you're cool. You're good that it's okay to feel however it is you want to feel. Maybe you want to just feel like peaceful. That's okay too. Whatever it is, you need to identify what is it, the feeling that you want when you've accomplished your why. Because like maybe your why is like, I want to be able to do all this cool stuff with my family and da 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 da. But if you feel drained, like frazzled outside of your skull and all this stuff, you haven't accomplished what it is that you're driving at.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So often we come at our goals with the logical side of our brain, and it's so important to bring in that emotional side, because really that is what's going to help sustain you when that, I don't know, everything comes up and instead you end up binge watching Netflix. I've never done that. So, but
oh no.
It's like my favorite like go to. I'm like, and then you binge watch Netflix, and I'm like guilty. Love me some Netflix. This has been so absolutely amazing. Like we could just go on forever.
Absolutely.
And so I want to make sure that everybody knows how they can connect with you and dig deeper with you on these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So you, of course, can come hang out with me on Instagram. You can find me at Lynette Esperanza. We'll link it in the show notes. And also my website, LynetteEsperanza.com, is a great place to find out all the ways that you can work with me, upcoming master classes. I will just give a shout out that I have a really fun collaboration that I'm doing this month with a friend of mine. We have an amazing workshop. It's not really a master class. This is like get down in the weeds, do all the things together. And so you can find that at impactacceleratorlab.com. But all those ways you can reach out to me, DM me. I'm happy to get you hooked up with whatever. This has been really, truly so fun and so just empowering. I know that this has been, for someone out there who's listening, it has changed the game for you. And so if that's you, I would just encourage you, like, just DM us or drop it in the comments. Say something so that we can continue to support you in your journey to creating a life that you love.
Absolutely.
Yes, please connect with us, and by all means, connect with Lynette. I also want to mention your masterclass. Can you talk a little bit about Success Accelerator Live?
Yeah, 100%. So Success Accelerator Live is another masterclass that I run from time to time that I love. It's so fun. And it's really designed to help you do exactly that. Accelerate your success. One of the things that we talked about earlier is really helping people figure out like, okay, how do I get this like super cool idea I've got in here out here? And so I give you a lot of very actionable tools to help you do exactly that, because there's nothing worse than like going to a master class and feeling like you didn't get anything. I want you to walk away feeling completely transformed, like your mindset has shifted, your heart has shifted, you have positioned yourself in a new way to take action towards your goals. And so inside of Success Accelerator Live, I give you all those tools and more.
Nice.
Thank you for
Beautiful. Of course.
So exciting. I'm going to have to check that out.
Absolutely.
So fun.
Absolutely. So, Lynette, what's next for you? What's coming up on the horizon?
This is such a good question. So it's so fun that we're talking about imposter syndrome this week, because I have a chapter of a book due on Saturday, and I'm like, what did I think when I was saying yes to this? But I think it's like a perfect opportunity to step into that practice and get excited, because I know that the message I have to share in that is going to be really powerful and helpful to some people. But it's the first time that I've published at that amount, and so I'm like, oh gosh. So I'm excited for that. Of course, I've got master classes with my partner and my own master classes coming up. And I have some really fun new programs that I'm going to be launching in the new year. And I just can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome sauce. So
exciting.
Yeah.
It is exciting. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on the book too.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
thank you
both so much. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate this.
Yes. So we would love to know from everybody if you had any key takeaways. Be sure to reach out to us, reach out to Lynette. We'll make sure all the links are everywhere in the show notes. And we've been trying to keep up with the comments, and I apologize to those of you that tried to watch on Facebook. I tried to direct you to YouTube. We are having some technical difficulties. So if I was making really funny faces, Lynette, hopefully I didn't like swear under my breath with my mic on.
No worries, no worries.
You know, the fun of technology when you're like clicking through the windows and you're like, where is it? Find it. Where is it?
It happens to the best of us.
Yes.
Indeed it does. Yes. And of course, if you did get value, we would love for you to leave us a review at ratethispodcast.com. You can find us at that address under CALYL, which stands for Create a Life You Love. And Chantal, do you want to talk a little bit about what's coming up here?
I do. We have such a big celebration coming up, a big milestone for the podcast. So next week is our 99th episode, which for those of you who can count, that means the following week is our 100th. I had to do, some math, and math is hard. But we figured out it's October 4th and it's our 100th episode. And we really want to celebrate this milestone and just thank everybody that supported us along the way. And so to celebrate, we have a few fun surprises up our sleeve.
Ooh,
exciting.
Do tell.
Yes. So we are going to do a special format of an episode where it's more of a tell all episode where you ask and we answer. And so you can send us your questions about anything. It could be about coaching, podcasting. It could be something silly like what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Whatever you want to know from Gwen and I, you can submit your questions. And we made a little Google form that you can access at thekhalilpodcast.com/100. And then as a thank you
for every question you submit. I know I'm like dying to talk about this. Yeah, your name will be put into a drawing and the winner will get a 30-day all access pass to the Create a Life You Love membership. Woo. So yeah, get questions in. And of course, the more questions, the better, the more chances you have to win the grand prize. Absolutely.
Yes. So you've got 2 weeks to get your questions in. And then we want to make sure that you join us next week when we're chatting with Dr. Pooja Agarwal, as she is a neurologist and a certified burnout coach and growth mindset expert who teaches busy, high-achieving female professionals how to get rid of overwhelm, to stress less, and to find themselves in our chaotic, fast-paced world. So we have a theme, guys, because this is what we're all struggling with, and what we're hearing from our community is we're overwhelmed, we're burnt out. And so really bringing in these experts that are specialists in these topics to help you is so valuable. And so thank you so much, Lynette, for being amongst that amazing list of people we get to bring in.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
my honor. Thank you.
And of course, once again, you can find us live in the Create a Life You Love community every week. And or you can catch this and all the episodes on your favorite podcasting platform. So check that out.
Yep. So we'll be back to our normal time next Tuesday. Thanks for finding us at 7:30 instead of 7 and on YouTube instead of Facebook. So we appreciate you and enjoy the journey. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life You Love podcast. We would love to hear from you about your biggest takeaways. Share them with us on Facebook or Instagram at Create a Life You Love Coaching. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. If you're ready to build aligned and sustainable momentum without overwhelm and burnout, we invite you to apply for the Create a Life You Love membership on our website, createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership. That's it for now. Enjoy the journey.